Hello and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name's Brian, and if you're a returning subscriber, what's up, Soul Nation? Thanks for coming back and checking out this Shadow PC video. I just want to say you're awesome and a beautiful person, and that's what you get for subscribing. Free compliments in some of my videos. But today I want to talk to you guys about Shadow PC. I've been using it since June of 2019. They have partnered with me in the past over at Work to Game. This is not a sponsored post. They have not asked me to make this. And in all truth, I have never actually received a dime from Shadow PC. And in the end of the day, I'm perfectly fine with that. It is an incredible service. And several of you keep asking me in my videos about Shadow PC. What games does it play? How does it work? And so I think I'd make this video for you guys to do a completely deep dive, hopefully answer all of your questions. And several of you have asked questions. So there's going to be kind of a frequently asked questions. We're going to see a part of this. I'm going to show you my data limits, how much data Shadow is actually using over the course of a month. I'm going to talk to you guys about plans, what you can do with Shadow PC. And if this video doesn't cover it, please let me know in the comments so I can try to answer this after the fact. I love this service. It is great. It's the only way to currently play Final Fantasy XIV and Final Fantasy XI in the cloud. Any of these cloud restrictions that you see with GeForce Now, which I'll use, and that's actually an upcoming video that I plan to put out on the channel for you guys. But anything that has a restriction, it doesn't play on xCloud, it doesn't play on GeForce Now. Shadow doesn't have to deal with any of that. It is a complete PC experience, as you can see here in the cloud, and it runs great. It runs lagless. Anybody talking to you guys at this point about lag and cloud gaming doesn't know what they're talking about. As long as you've got the bandwidth, you're going to be fine. I think it's important to talk about bandwidth first, because if you are capped, thanks for checking out this video. We'll see you as soon as you get decent internet, and I'm advocating for that. I think hopefully we'll see over the course of the next 5 to 10 years just more options to people who want to play games in the cloud. Why should you play in the cloud? Well, A, it preserves the length of your PC. This is something where the games are processing elsewhere. It's like having two PCs in your house, except for one's incredibly powerful and the other one can handle your stream or recording if you're a content creator like myself. I find that this is an absolute necessary product to have, especially currently in 2020, where I can game on my laptop, my phone, and here also on my desktop PC, and all my settings are the same. It just connects and I just can go and have fun, especially as an online gamer. To talk about this from a Destiny perspective, from a Call of Duty perspective, I dominate in Destiny. I dominate in these games, and maybe I'm just good, but honestly, I don't think I'm that good. I don't have bad experiences. I can go 30 or 40 kills in a Destiny game. Here on Shadow, I can do the same thing in GeForce Now. I can do the same thing on Xbox and Stadia. Like, the experience is premier. And you're the only real way to, like, I'm not trying to sell you this as a product, I'm just trying to inform you about it. The only real way you can know is to go hands-on. And I would recommend, because of the way that Shadow is configured, I'll show you this here, you have to kind of pre-order and basically get in line. If you're not willing to kind of make that jump, you can always sign up for Stadia for a free month, like, you know, no cost to you, and check it out. You can sign up for GeForce Now for free and check it out and see if you're going to have any kind of problems before you actually make the financial jump into this. Now, before, like I said, I want to talk to you guys about data usage before I go over all of what Shadow has to offer and their settings, and then as well as your questions. You can see here, in the course of a month, 670 gigabytes worth of data. And this is a little bit low. Like, if I was actually filming this 2 weeks ago, this would be much higher, including some August time. It just depends on how busy I am with work. Do I have more game time to stream and create content? So you can expect that Shadow PC, in this case, is the biggest use of bandwidth in my house. I am on uncapped internet. If I was capped, I would be hitting that cap every month, and it would not be worth it. But you can see here, next down below that is my Stadia connection. And yeah, you might think Stadia is a meme, but it's a great and powerful service. It just doesn't do everything that Shadow does. And just like my GeForce Now, I'll be doing a Stadia video in the future. And then you can see my streaming here. Obviously, streaming taking much less bandwidth when I'm doing that kind of content versus playing the game itself. So just know, even GeForce Now is a little bit less because I don't have as many games that are playable in GeForce Now, because several people keep adding and taking things away, and ultimately it is something that I'm going to have to wait and see for. So hopefully that helps answer some kind of questions as a part of limits and what kind of data you should expect. And we'll go into the actual settings, because in Shadow itself, hitting your like Windows Alt key and O key will bring up all your different streaming settings. you can allocate the amount of bandwidth that you want to use. I've got mine set at 50. This works perfectly for me while playing these games. I've even had it as low as 25. And you can adjust this. You can find out what actually works best for you and set the right bandwidth requirements for you. I have 1,000 down internet with uncapped, so putting it at 50 is not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt anybody running and playing these games. So that is my personal setting, and you can kind of use that to correlate your data usage based off the amount of times that you're playing games. Overall, like, you got a lot of different settings regarding your display. It does support controllers, in this case up to 4 controllers. If I turn on my controller right here and now, it will actually prompt and pop up that it recognizes my controller, and now I can use my controller with all of my games lag free. You can also have it use your microphone and different USB peripherals. Having a hard time with that word. But all in all, it gives you a lot of options. So if you're going to be playing a game, I would recommend playing in full screen, but you can always choose to do you any which way. But you'll also see this unlock cursor, Windows Alt M. This allows me with the dual monitor setup to leave the screen. If you're playing a mouse and keyboard game like World of Warcraft or any kind of mouse and keyboard game, I recommend making sure you have that locked down so your mouse won't go outside the bounds of the arena. This is going to give you that true to form PC experience. If it's unbound, you might get some weird camera wonkiness, and that's just from my personal experience using the system itself. But here's the real kicker. Here's the thing why I think Shadow is one of the best services out there is you can install Word, you can install Excel, you can run like a business from this. They don't care what you're doing and your data, and they can't even see what you're doing, with one exception, and that would be if you're trying to Bitmine or whatever that use their high-powered computers to mine up digital currencies. So just note, don't do that. But if you're having a good time, you can play any games. They can't see into it. They can't see what you've got installed. You're completely protected via encryption that way, and as well as your account. So your account is protected by a password, and just note, so somebody got your password, they can have access to your Shadow PC and your account, but outside of that, you're encrypted to the PC, and all your stuff is encrypted on the PC itself. Now at this point, I think I want to kind of dive into the base system. That's what I use. I don't have the advanced systems, and you can go look at the power, but it's really about hard drive space for me as a content creator. What I've had to do is I actually had to go in and split out my hard drive into 2 different ones, because when you're playing on Shadow PC, I actually have a guide on this channel talking about how to troubleshoot Xbox games in this case. So I've actually partitioned my own hard drive so that I can install different Xbox games specifically from Xbox. That way they will play. Phantasy Star Online 2 is a really good example of this, whether it's from Steam or just from the Xbox store. Regardless, it's here. I can install games like Minecraft, any games that I can, except for Genshin Impact, which is a weird game in this case that uses some kind of kernel level, anti-cheat, hacking kind of information. So it's like, that unfortunately currently at the time of this recording does not work. Outside of that one specific game, every game that I own, whether it's on Steam, whether it's on Xbox, whether it's just to download, this is your version of a computer, and you can install anything that you want on it. In fact, I actually used to be running Visual Studio on this and doing some programming in the cloud when my local computer wasn't able to run Visual Studio because I was doing some kind of remote work. So it ended up coming into advantage there. Now, before I dive into your questions and into essentially the settings that you also have access to for Shadow, whenever you finish your session, you can rate it like up to 5 stars. If you have issues and you rate it less than, they're going to ask you why, which will help them improve their algorithms and their AI so that this all connects and gives you the best experience possible. But this time I want to kind of dive quickly into the settings and show you, before you even launch Shadow, what you have access to. We've already talked about the bandwidth allocation. You can even set this to automatic if you wish, and then you can even prioritize down here whether you want to prefer your speed or the reliability of your connection, and you have a couple different settings that you have to play with. Low bandwidth mode if you are having issues, but obviously a device manufactured before 2014 would not be recommended. You can say full screen at start, automatic shutdown. What this means is that when you turn off Shadow, like you just hit like the X, it might even be running for you, and there's going to be a time limit in which the server detects that it's not actually being used and will actually shut it down for you. But let's say you were transferring from your computer to your phone or to another computer. If you have multiple computers in your house, this is also a really good service because you can install your game one place and call it a day. Anyway, this will actually say it will turn off if you just shut it down. I have that set to off because I transfer devices all the time. USB peripherals, you can say that you want to forward all your other USBs to the thing, and this is going to require the driver installation, and you can manage that here. Low-end config optimization has the fixed performance issues on low-end hardware, so you can turn this on if that's giving you issues. This is a really new setting that says keeps graphics drivers updated. I have that set to true. The reason I do is because I don't like managing it. I think it's one of the issues with PC gaming, and overall, this is a real big perk in my opinion. All that being said is to say, if you don't have this on, just like a PC, you're going to have to manage your graphics drivers. So whether you like that functionality or not, just note this is a case scenario for it. And on top of that, yes, Shadow supports mods. You're not going to have to worry about those kind of systems or those kind of things at play. You can go and do anything that you want, except for mine digital currencies. And then you have some different experimental settings, and as Shadow itself updates, they'll have different news things for you, talking about what's going on in the world of Shadow. In fact, they just got a new CEO and CTO, so I wish them all the luck. So from a pricing perspective, we already kind of saw that briefly, but here you have 3 different tiers, $12 a month, $24 or $25 a month, and $40 a month, and you're going to see what you get. Overall, I think the storage in and of itself, and it does have additional upgraded storage options available that you can add on to that, but overall, your base level is a GTX 1080 or better. The mid tier is a 2080 or better, and the final one is a Titan RTX or better. As the technology gets better, Shadow upgrades itself. You're not going to be locked into this. They continue to improve the system and the services for you. Now, as at this time, I want to kind of dive into some of y'all's questions. And again, if I don't answer them in this video, let me know in the comments. But are there any specific equipment requirements? Essentially, if you look at the Shadowbox system, now called the Shadow Ghost. No, not whatsoever. If you want to have this hooked up to your TV, yes, you would need a Shadow Ghost, a Shadowbox. They have different names for that piece of technology. I don't currently have one, but you can go from there and just kind of play around with it. Is this a virtual PC? Technically, yes. This is going to act like a virtual PC, and that's what we've actually seen with Genshin Impact, that denial based off of that level. So you're not going to have full direct access to the kernel. However, you can install any other software that you want on this. And if we find any other software that doesn't work on Shadow PC, I'll be sure to guys update you, whether in Discord or if it requires a video, I'll be sure to put that together as a follow-up to this one down the line. Now, is there a specific marketplace for programs? Basically, like, are you locked into the Steam store, Epic store, a Windows store? And no, you can go any store that is running on a normal PC will work for you on Shadow. In fact, I have both Steam, Epic, Windows, and Blizzard all running on my Shadow PC. So yeah, it is what it is on that one. What kind of security features does it offer to prevent others from accessing your account as a byproduct of you having the service to remember passwords? Honestly, I really can't dive into that. I don't have intrinsic knowledge about that. I would believe that you might see some two-factor authentication. However, I don't have that configured, and I haven't seen that option personally. I was looking around, and I'm sure it's going to exist, but ultimately just note that if someone gets your password, chances are they're going to be able to get access to your Shadow. I'm sure there's some IP logging, and unfortunately, if I find a better answer for you, I'll let you know, as time goes by. Are there any restrictions on your hardware usage? Say that you have a flight stick to use with MS Flight Sim. Would that work? Or are there specific hoops to jump through with the drivers? So far, I haven't had any issues with the drivers. In fact, if I plug in a Stadia controller, just like it did the Xbox controller, except for it has a little clown image. And that's, I think, honestly pretty funny because they're just throwing shade at Stadia. But the good thing is that with Stadia and Lumina, you see prices come down and things get a little bit more competitive. So they definitely want your business as far as it goes. And the pricing, I think, is almost perfect for what you get. But again, this is a personal decision that you have to make. Regarding drivers, we just kind of covered that. But yes, you can have it try to keep up your graphics drivers if you wish, or you can manage that manually. And are you able to apply mods in games? Yes, you're able to do that. It's really up to you. But again, just like a computer, hard drive space is a premium. And if you play more than one, especially these bigger online games like Destiny 2, which is actually getting smaller with Beyond Light, just note that it does take up a penny of space. And then hopefully that helps answer all of those questions that have been asked. Again, like I can tell you, hands down, great experience. I'm going to keep using Shadow PC. And honestly, I'm just kind of looking at, hopefully this video has been a help. If it hasn't, let me know. If it has, let me know. If you feel like I've earned your subscription and a like on this video, be sure to let me know so I can welcome you to the Soul Nation in the comments below. And if this was helpful by any means, be sure to share it out on social media. That's the best way you can help content creators out, is share their work with others, and make that. We'll just go from there. I don't really have a good way to end this video. I've really enjoyed making this. Hopefully this helps answer your questions, and hopefully you had a good time watching this video. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me, for Ginger Prime. My name's Brian. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you have a great day, and hope to see you in my next video. But until then, take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.